Now pleased to be welcomed by Alan Harrison, the mayor of Salmon Arm. Thanks so much for joining me, Alan. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you, Nathan, for the invitation.
Thank you very much for joining us. And before we get into the hockey, a few other things that we're going to talk about. And I just want to start with maybe giving the listeners, the viewers, a little bit of background on yourself. How did you get involved in politics?
Well, I like politics almost as much as I like hockey. So it was a conversation around our dinner table when I was growing up. So I've always been interested, but I became a councillor in the city of Tumbler Ridge back in 1983. And then when we moved to Salmon Arm, I was interested. I ran for council, was successful. So I've been involved for 19 years as a councillor, and now my first term as a mayor.
Perfect. Can you give us a little bit of background on how the city is doing? And we're now past the 1 year mark of COVID. So how are things looking?
Well, I think we're blessed to be living probably in the sweetest spot you could during a COVID outbreak. I know it hasn't been easy for residents, but the people from Salmon Arm have been amazing. I mean, we've been listening to Dr. Bonnie Henry and following what she's had to say. We've had very few outbreaks here within our city and within our city boundaries. And, the actual economy, the real estate market, people are shopping locally. So I would say we are doing as well as any place in British Columbia. And it's because of the residents here.
Awesome. Now, there was some tough news this past Monday, some COVID news passed down by the provincial government that for restaurants, all food and liquor serving premises in BC must only provide takeout and delivery service for the next 3 weeks. So 3 weeks as of this past Monday. So how can people in Salmon Arm help out our local restaurants?
Yeah, so we sure can help out by using takeout. I know all of the cafes, all the coffee shops, all the restaurants are really geared up because we've done it before and people have responded. So shopping locally and takeout food will really help them get over this hump. The city also is accelerating the patio program downtown, and we've had inquiries already. So we're going to get those patios up just as soon as we can for outside dining because we know outside is safe. So thank you to the residents of Salmon Arm. We love our restaurants. We want them to be able to survive. So please shop local, order takeout.
Perfect. Let's transition to some hockey talk. The BCHL is back. The Silverbacks are back. A little bit different, of course, but I just want to talk or ask you about it as a longtime resident, a longtime hockey advocate, and longtime Silverbacks fan. How did you first get hooked on the sport and on the Silverbacks?
Well, I started my skating actually on the Salmon River back in the early 1960s and skated outdoors on the river, on the lakes, on Maguire Lake, learned how to play hockey in the old Centennial Arena. And as far as getting hooked on the Silverbacks, I mean, I love hockey. Tyler Shattuck, the coach of the Silverbacks, is a former player that I coached when he was drafted in the first round of the Bantam draft out of Kamloops. And so I feel like I have a real connection. Of course, I play seniors hockey during the day and see the Silverbacks all of the time. Love to watch them right from the start. And it's just fast-paced action hockey. I love the BCHL. It's not a systems kind of hockey. It's more a creative kind of hockey. So yeah, I've always been a fan, and I'm so excited that they can play.
Mm-hmm. And we'll get to that excitement in just a bit, but are there any early memories for you, like the early days of the Backs? It's now been 20 years. Anything stand out from the early 2000s?
Oh, for sure. The early years, and Joey D'Amico, I believe his name was, who was the first captain of the Silverbacks. I have 3 boys. My wife and I have 3 boys, all rabid hockey fans. And they and all of their friends used to pack that rink when the Silverbacks first began, and it was a raucous place. So I remember those early years and the action, and the team actually did surprisingly well early on. And so, yeah, I really remember those days and remember the energy in the rink.
Now, I know you've seen firsthand the impact the team has had on the community. Maybe you can just talk about where you've seen the most or where you've seen that impact yourself.
Yeah, I think the Silverbacks are much more than a hockey team to this community. As a school principal, they came into my school and they read with our children. They played hockey at lunchtime in the gym with them. When I go on the Armistice Day and we do the Remembrance Day walk, the Silverbacks are there. I see them out in the community all the time. So they've really become an intricate part of the Salmon Arm community. And I think that's all a part of the philosophy that the BCHL has, which is really to develop young people, not just young hockey players. I know the scholarship piece is really big as far as the education goes. So yeah, they are a really important fabric of our community.
Now, I'm wondering if that's changed the community impact they've had. I mean, over the last 7 years, the current ownership, it's really been commitment and stable ownership. What have you seen that's maybe changed over the past several years since the new owners took over?
Yeah, I think that the stable ownership that we have now with our Silverbacks has made a huge difference. And the communication with the community and with the business community. I mean, when you go into the rink, you can just see it because there's advertising from local advertisers, local businesses everywhere. The business is back the Silverbacks. I know that yourself and the Silverback club has really worked hard at that outreach piece. And especially in the last 5-6 years, I think the relationship has really grown. The community is really behind the Silverbacks.
Now, it's obviously unfortunate that the Backs can't play at home, but you've still got to be, let's just talk about the excitement of it being back. How are you going to follow along and how closely will you be keeping tabs?
Well, tonight's the first game. So Friday night, the boys are playing and going on to the Silverback website. It's easy to hook up so that we can see the game. And you can get your own cardboard cutout of yourself. I think my wife and I will do that, so we feel like we're there in spirit. I understand that it's a pretty compact schedule, so they'll be playing lots of games, and the opportunity to stream them online on the website, it's really quite reasonable. It's about $2 a game, so we'll take that opportunity. We want to watch them.
Awesome, perfect. Thank you so much, Alan, for taking the time.
Great, thanks, Nathan.